Mufti Amjad, just to finally finish on from yourself, from a more spiritual perspective, for those, there's a question from Imam Sulaiman, hopefully I said that correctly, about those students who are studying at university, studying for their GCSEs, A-levels, whatever they're doing at this particular time during Ramadan. How do they connect with to maximize their worship? You know, is there any kind of advice you can give them? You know, clearly they have these obstacles in terms of revising and so forth, and you know, how should they maximize the worship element to this blessed month?
I'll start by making a general point, and then I'll finish off on the specific question there. The general point is, we live in this world, and what's happened is, naturally, and especially living as a minority, we give priority to the what we see, the zahir, the body. So we want to look good, we want to have a nice house, we want to have a nice car, we want to have our children to be successful in the world. And what happens is we give this the worldly, the what can be visible to us, we give this a priority. And when we give this a priority, we think that with that will come success. But when we look at the lives of famous people, whether they're musicians, actors, whatever else, where we're arguably, some of us would willingly change our lives for their lives because they have what we don't have. We aspire to what they have. We're inspired by them. But when you see their lives, they also have those same empty lives, if not even emptier lives. And we see, the high level of substance abuse, suicide rate, things of that nature, marriage breakdown. I could go on. And so you sit back and you think, well, look, this is what I'm aspiring to become, and I have not got there. They've actually got there, and they're not satisfied. I always use the example of Kurt Cobain from Nirvana, who killed himself, who committed suicide, and he was a young rock star, famous, and had everything going for him. So clearly, even if we put all our eggs in one basket and chase this world, we're not going to get that contentment that we think we're going to get. So where are we going to get this contentment from? And we're seeing high levels of depression. And we've talked in the past, and I'm sure it's an area which you study in. High levels of depression, high levels of poor mental health, and things of that matter. Why is that? It's because we're dealing with one part of our body, but not dealing with the other part of our body. So what happens is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we can't do it ourselves, sadly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes away those things which is driving this worldly part of our body. So he removes food from us. So this is why Ramadan is called a mercy, even though we think, how can this be a mercy? I'm starving, I'm thirsty, I'm tired. How is this merciful? This is merciful because it's the father or the mother with the child that takes something away from the child. The child wants to play PS4 till 4 in the morning. So the mother takes the PS4, the father takes the PS4 away. The child wants to eat burgers all day long. So the mother or the father takes it away. So what looks like being non-merciful is actually merciful. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we can't do it ourselves, he says, I'll remove food from you as an obstacle. I'll remove drink from you, and I'll remove any, desires towards your wife or your husband. So now your bodily needs are gone. So what happens then, our spiritual, our soul, which has literally been on life support machine for the last 11 months, suddenly gets the food it wants, because the food it wants is dhikr of Allah. The food it wants is salah. The food it wants is, like Shaykh mentioned, is to support those who are in lesser positions than us. Sadly, we see these videos going around, and I hate these videos that go around, and I always tell off people to send me them. But some you accidentally press on there, and you see children drinking black water, which we would not even step in. We would walk around so as not to get our shoes dirty, and these children are drinking it. So, you realize the good fortune position that we're in, and how much gratitude are we showing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that position. That in itself is what's, kufr is a word that's used for showing lack of gratitude. So, we've got to show gratitude. So this month gives us that chance. This gives us that chance where we put all these things to one side and we focus. But specifically, in terms of those individuals who are obviously in a situation, now they've got an immediate need. Their immediate need, obviously, is to get through a particular course or pass a particular exam or whatever. But also they've got their long-term need. I'll explain what I mean by that, because sometimes the long-term need is closer than the short-term need. We have an example where an individual was building an extension to his house, and the Prophet reminded him that something more closer to you will come to you rather than what you think, meaning that you could be dead before that you actually finish this house preparation. So we do have worldly needs, but it could be that by the time they finish these GCSEs or whatever, we had a young lad 2 years ago from our institute who passed away. He was preparing for his GCSEs in March, he passed away. It's been 2 years now, year 11, and he never actually got to cite his GCSEs or take it any forward. So we've always got to keep the long-term picture in mind, that so they've got to try to look at their timetable and see what they can shift around. Where they can, obviously they've got to revise, but they've also got to realize this could be my last Ramadan. It could be that I don't have next Ramadan. This could be it. And I've got to use this opportunity to maximize benefit. So it's timetables are essential, absolutely important. We don't time out, we enumerate and we worry about our money so much that, we don't want to spend £5 there, £10 there, but we'll spend an hour doing this and 5 hours doing that. So we don't value time. So these individuals have got to really value time. So the way if they value time and they make a timetable for themselves, that they've got a bit of work time, bit of revision time, bit of exam time, bit of relaxed time, and also not to forget their adhkar, not to forget their salah, not to forget all these other activities, because that's what's actually going to make them succeed. This is a less of a success than the real success. Even if a person has no job, has no way forward, but has iman, then that person, and has amal, then that person's value is far superior to the other person. So it's a balance that they have to do. And the best way of approach is having a decent timetable and working with that timetable.